This is the OP-1F Beat Creation Series, Episode 4, Finger. To kick this one off, we're going to create a fresh tape using the Studio 4 track. I've also got this Dr. Wave preset loaded. The finger sequencer stores a number of different patterns across the white keys. We can trigger these on their own or in combination with each other. When you first use this sequencer, there are already a few presets ready to go, but let's talk about how to create our own patterns on finger. First, hold Shift and turn the blue encoder to erase the steps in the pattern. You can change the amount of steps in the pattern by turning the grey encoder. And now to add your own steps, hold Shift and press the notes in order. Finger can record velocity and polyphony, and to move between steps, you can hold Shift and press the arrow keys. If you make a mistake, just go back over it with the erase function. While I add in the rest of the notes to the sequence, it's worth mentioning that the ochre encoder controls swing and the orange encoder is a hold for the sequencer. If you hold Shift and turn the orange encoder, you can decide how the patterns interact with each other. The mode we're in now is called Join, and this allows two patterns to play together at the same time. Let's create a new pattern to complement the first one. So I'll put a couple of steps with 2 notes on, and I'll set the step length to 7 so that it phases. Okay, and now we're ready to record. Hold record to arm the tape, and then trigger the sequences to start recording. This keeps everything tempo locked. So now let's create a bass line using the same pattern with dimension on a bass patch, which I'll just edit quickly. Then when we're ready, hold record and trigger the sequence to keep everything running in time. Okay, so we've got a melody and a bass line. Let's try this with drums. So finger might look a little different here, but it works in exactly the same way. Hold Shift and enter steps and use the arrow keys to move between steps. So where we have multiple drum patterns, it'd be useful to create some fills. So if we turn the orange encoder while holding Shift, we enable fill mode. So we'll just create a quick fill there. Trigger the fill, and then it immediately goes back to playing the first pattern. Moving on, let's create a top part for that kick drum pattern we just created. Switching back to Join, we can then play those two together. And then let's try it with the full track. In this mode, we can try a few different combinations of patterns and see what we like. These two sound pretty good together, so I'll record those to track 3. And then as a final layer, I've got this sound, which is using 2 patterns from finger to create some chords. There's one more playback mode that we haven't covered yet, which is replace. And what this does is it allows you to trigger one pattern and then cue up the next to start at the end of the first, like so. This differs from fill-in because fill-in will return to the first pattern once the second's finished, whereas replace will continue to play the latest pattern triggered. And that's pretty much it for finger, so hopefully this was useful, and next time we'll be looking at hold. Hope to see you then.